morning, everyone, and welcome to the Strategic Asia Marketing Alliance Sama Philippine chapter launch, of course, here in Dusit Tani. My name is Lizelle, and it is a pleasure to be part of this very pivotal moment. How is everyone doing today? Is everyone excited? Is everyone excited? Alright, I love the energy. I saw that a lot of our guests were already networking early on and enjoying our food and refreshments. So let's keep the energy up high because we have a ton of surprises in store for you today. However, I do have a quick question for everyone here in this room. Who here is familiar and has tried halo halo before? Can I see a raise of hands? Who has tried halo halo before? Okay, a good set of people. Alright, thank you so much everyone. But for those that do not know, halo halo is one of Philippines' most popular desserts. And the ingredients include fruits, beans, jellies, leche flan, and we also have ube halaya, but if you are lucky, you might as well get a ice cream on top of your halo halo. And of course, you do have your shaved ice and evaporated milk that will bring everything together. That sounds mouth-watering, isn't it? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And now, ladies and gentlemen, come to think of it, Sama is the same way. It's made up of different agencies with a wealth of different expertise, penetrating different markets and possessing different perspectives that each bring something unique to the mix. And today, we're making the mix even more richer as we officially launch the Philippine chapter of Strategic Asia Marketing Alliance. Thank you all so much. We got an exciting morning ahead, and we are beyond glad to have all of you here today, especially from our friends from the media, with our member agencies, and of course, our key dignitaries. Thank you all so much for joining us. And now, to officially kick off our celebration, let's hear it from the man behind the vision of Sama. As the founder of Scribble and the founder of Strategic Asia Marketing Alliance, or also known as Sama, he has helped brands grow through strategic, integrated marketing and communications. Through his leadership, he continues to champion regional collaboration, meaningful partnerships, and the role of independent agencies in shaping the future of marketing across Southeast Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the founder of Strategic Asia Marketing Alliance, Mr. Teng Chan Leong.
I always forget to do this. So I'm going to start off with a picture before I forget. Smile.
You should have one with you.
Oh! I will do that. It's a good idea. Oh my god. Okay, let's get on top anyone. Awesome. Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. And thank you for joining us here in Dusit Tani, Manila on a beautiful 7th of July 2026. Today, it marks the day that Sama is officially launching right here in Manila, Philippines. A special good morning to Mr. Donald Lim from Udema Corporations and to the members of media for joining us today. Also, very welcome to our partner members from across Southeast Asia. We have representatives from Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and last but not least, the Philippines chapter. 3 years ago, I founded SAMA, Strategic Asia Marketing Alliance, with a simple frustration that too many great agencies in this region stay boxed in, be so capable of doing so much more, but with no easy way to grow beyond their own borders. Southeast Asia is one of the sharpest creative and marketing talent, has some of the sharpest marketing and creative talent in the world. But we're fragmented. Malaysia doesn't talk to Vietnam, Vietnam doesn't talk to Philippines. Every agency ends up being kept by its own geography, when the real opportunity is to grow outside our borders. Together, not alone. SAMA was the answer to that. Not another industry association where we meet once a year for dinner. A working alliance. Agencies who refer business to each other, share what's working, and back each other up when a client needs boots on the ground in a market we don't personally operate in. We started in Indonesia with 13 agencies, real founders, real skin in the game. Today, SAMA stands at 49 different agencies across Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, and Vietnam. And in the last 2 years alone, we have channeled over $3.1 million worth of opportunities to each other. That's not a projection. That's real business, real value, real referrals, and real work changing hands because founders choose to trust each other instead of guard their turf. As I said in Indonesia, and I repeated in Malaysia, and again in Thailand, we want to invite everybody to become collaborators and not competitors. Here's what I believe, and this is the whole premise of SAMA, that agencies that win the next decade won't be the biggest, but they will be the most connected. When a client in Manila needs a partner in KL, or a client in KL needs someone who actually understands the Philippine market, not subcontractors, not freelancers, not resellers, but a peer who's invested in getting it right, that has their reputation on the line as well. And that is this alliance doing its job. This isn't about diluting anyone's brand or client list. Every agency here keeps its own identity. That's why even though Scribble was the brand I first started off with, SAMA is now the brand we are building together. It doesn't belong to me, it belongs to us. What SAMA gives us is optionality. A bench of trusted partners across Southeast Asia, across the region that we can call when a client's ambition outgrow your borders. And it gives your client something bigger. A partner that genuinely say, we've got this covered across multiple countries in Southeast Asia. I won't pretend that this is charity. I built SAMA because it's good business for me and for every agency that joins with the right intent. But the one who gets the most out of it are not the ones who show up asking, but it's the one who show up saying, who can I help out first? That's been true in Malaysia, and I have no doubt it will be true here. So to the Philippine agencies joining here today, welcome. You're not joining a network. You're joining a group of founders who have decided that competing on scraps was never the point. The point was always to compete for the region together. Here's to SAMA Philippines. Let's build something worth showing up for. Thank you.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a glimpse of how collaboration can create a great impact. Just like what CL said, from a frustration to this grand alliance. And of course, that connectivity to all of the different countries, especially to our representatives from different countries here today. Thank you so much for joining us. We are very much excited and happy to welcome you here in the Philippines. But I believe let's bring the conversation a little bit closer to home this time. So thank you so much, CL, for that. Giving us our Philippine message this morning is a business development leader who turns conversations into partnerships and opportunities into sustainable growth. She serves as the managing partner of M2 Communications, where she has helped grow the agencies through strategic partnerships, stakeholder engagement, and a keen understanding of what it takes to build lasting relationships. And today, she serves as the leader of the youngest country chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause, please, as we call on stage the president of Sama Philippines, Miss Ella Reyes.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, CL, for sharing the history and the beautiful value of Sama, which the Philippines is now a part of. Once again, mabuhay and magandang umaga. Welcome and good morning to all our founders, alliance members, special guests, and of course, our media friends. Salamat. Such a heartfelt thank you for taking time to be with us today. And on behalf of the founding members of the Sama Philippine chapter, I present to you Sama Sama Halo Halo, our official launch. My name is Enya, and it is my privilege to serve as president of Sama Philippines. I'm also managing director at M2O Communications, a data-driven communications company. So the Philippine chapter of the Strategic Asian Marketing Alliance, or SAMA, is made up of some of the most enthusiastic, talented, passionate, and committed founders. I would say crazy, but that is subjective, and I will leave that to your discovery. In the vernacular, Sama is a Filipino word that means to come with. Sama-sama, and only because we like to say things twice here in the Philippines, means together. And that is the reason why we are all here today. A few years ago, a group of independent agencies across Southeast Asia noticed the same thing, each in its own market. They were the ones who knew their countries best. The language, the humor, the culture, the way locals would gravitate towards a product or a brand. But every time a brand wanted to grow across borders, that local knowledge got handed off. The big regional work went to the global networks. And what came back was often one idea, stretched thin, wearing a different flag in each country. So they asked a different question. What if the independents simply organized, not by merging into one giant network, not by giving up what made each of them local, but by linking arms and forming a trusted alliance, a network, a platform, an ecosystem. That is essentially what the Sama Alliance is. The region's best independent agencies, each strong in its own market, coming together to bring the best of what can be offered. And now, the Philippines takes the seat at this table. This comes at a time when the Philippine market is starting to look outwards. Filipino brands are no longer asking whether they can grow beyond our shores. They are asking how. Our homegrown businesses are ambitious. They are world-class and they are ready. Filipino brands have never lacked talent or nerve. What they lacked is a path trustworthy on-the-ground way onto the rest of the region. This works perfectly with how Sama is built. A strong collective that serves as a regional gateway that offers diverse and well-thought-of solutions. When the chapter and I sat down to figure out how to effectively launch for the Philippines, we kept circling back to a local dessert that Filipinos all know and love. We kept coming back to halo halo, or mix mix. Many distinct ingredients, leche flan, which is custard, ube, a rich purple root crop, saba, a type of banana, langka, which is jackfruit, just to name a few. Each one interesting and flavorful, that's a mouthful, on its own, and yet served together in one glass, and then you see the magic happen. It is best remembered in 3 phrases. First, one glass. One glass because for a Filipino brand, one local partner is now your gateway to Asia, Through Sama, you can reach Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Singapore. All through a single point of contact right here in Manila, with real specialists waiting in each of those markets. You do not have to assemble it yourself. Country by country, it is already composed for you. Many flavors, because you get real local depth instead of a recycled regional template. The leche flan is not supposed to taste like ube. Every market keeps its own flavor and its own cultural truth. And of course, a shared table. Because for too long, crossing borders has been a rich company game. It meant premium network rates that only the conglomerates could afford. Sama provides access and breaks down barriers, so that homegrown and mid-sized Filipino brands, the businesses that make most of our economy, can compete in the region too. The table is not reserved. Everyone is invited to pull up a chair. Now that you've heard me describe the table, it is time you met the people who set it. Behind Sama Philippines are 9 founding members, each one independent, each one a flavor of its own. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Sama Philippines.
One glass, many flavors, a shared table. Bringing together independent agencies, each with its own brand and expertise, to create one trusted Philippine partner, opening a gateway to Southeast Asia. This is Sama Philippines, introducing the local flavors and textures, the founding members that make the Sama Philippine chapter. Putting data at the core of every story, M2 Communications.
Everyone has something to say. But how do we make sure that we're heard and that people listen? With M2 Communications, creative and data-driven communication becomes part of who you are. Go beyond the page and get your brand where it needs to go. Where the right people hear the right message at the right time. Let's get you out there.
Turning ideas into purposeful, impactful experiences. Red Ants Media.
We are your trusted full-service media partner for more than a decade. Building mastery in our craft, we have been delivering ideas with a bite and staying top of mind for clients, creating impactful events, compelling and expertly crafted video production, strategic and results-driven digital marketing, branding solutions built to connect and resonate, engaging and meaningful trainings, advertising campaigns that move people to action, activations that create lasting experiences, telling stories that matter to you and your target audience, stories with heart, passion, social impact, and meaningful experiences that show results for our clients, delivering every project with creativity, technical excellence, integrity, and care. We are Red Ants Media.
Turning research into insights and possibilities. Curiosity.
Every business decision faces uncertainty, and nothing is riskier than moving fast in the wrong direction because your consumer insights no longer match reality. So how do you address this? Research driven by curiosity. Curiosity is a customer experience research agency that helps organizations navigate the risks of strategic decisions through a deep, holistic exploration of their customers. For over a decade, we have supported the largest organizations in creating transformational services that enrich the human experience. We've helped companies adapt to shifting consumer behaviors, uncover unarticulated needs, identify opportunities for product and design innovations, and align stakeholders around compelling evidence-based data. As a boutique agency specializing in market and user experience research, we're known for our uncompromising rigor and agility and our multidisciplinary approach that generates richer insights. Let's help you discover possibilities. Discover with curiosity.
building stronger ecosystems with brands, creators, and agencies. Blogapalooza.
In 2011, when influencer marketing was still in its infancy, Blogapalooza set out with a simple vision: to bring brands and content creators together through meaningful collaborations. Today, we're proud to be the Philippines' pioneering influencer marketing company, having worked with over 1,000 brands and built a community of more than 15,000 creators nationwide. But our work goes beyond campaigns. We build communities, launch creator programs, produce content, manage talent, mount industry events, and help shape conversations that move the creator economy forward. For more than a decade, we believe that great marketing starts with authentic relationships powered by creativity, trust, and collaboration. As a founding member of Sama Philippines, we look forward to creating bigger opportunities, stronger partnerships, and meaningful impact across Asia together.
Building brands that profit with purpose. Evident.
For over a decade, brands and causes that mattered have trusted us with the same question. How do you get people to do something different? Not just notice, but change. Evident is a communication and PR agency built around the belief that communication should move people and not just reach them. Across advocacy, brand and corporate communications, strategy, and creative, our team brings that belief into every campaign we build. Our campaigns have shifted mindsets, changed behavior, and created impact you can actually measure. This has never been just about visibility. It's about bringing out the best in people and in the brands brave enough to try. We make your purpose evident.
Turning big moments into world-class experiences. Live Catch.
We're Live Catch. We do world-class take ones when you can't afford to take two. We make big things even bigger. We specialize in entertainment, competitions, and corporate work. We provide everything you need for your live broadcast, your on-ground event, or your video production needs. We make things for both ourselves and our clients.
One of the goals is really just to have more people who are better trained, who love the work.
With our technical expertise, creative executions, and our vast network of Philippine artists, we can help you grow even bigger.
Building infrastructures that make complex platforms work. ThinkBit.
Hi there, let me introduce you to ThinkBit. ThinkBit is an ISO-certified IT company, proudly delivering secure IT services to clients worldwide since 2014. Discover our core services, designed to deliver the ultimate digital solutions for your business.
In hospitality and real estate, we have developed solutions for Hotel 101's web and mobile booking platforms. We've also developed navigation and lead generation systems.
In healthcare, we've partnered with UNICEF, PhilHealth, and the Department of Health to build systems for national healthcare programs. For education, we've transformed corporate training by delivering interactive, gamified LMS experiences within custom mobile applications. Our loyalty and rewards apps turn user engagement into brand growth with seamless point systems and digital rewards. Our client list has grown tremendously over the years. We take pride in serving a diverse range of industry leaders with complex and demanding requirements. ThinkBit. Think business information technology.
Turning science and imagination into aha moments. BBX Collab.
10 years ago, we set out with a vision to become the go-to agency for brands seeking not just campaigns or events, but something more. Creative services that transform. We are creative scientists, always in pursuit of aha moments that can change the world in various ways. We blend the discipline of data with the strength of storytelling, a nuclear fusion of research-driven insights with imaginative execution that creates that deep in your gut, soul-stirring aha. At BBX Collab, beyond being a dedicated agency, we are your close collaborators, your creative partners and brand champions, building genuine relationships as the heart of our shared commitment to excellence. This is BDX Collab, your creative scientists.
Turning bold ideas into connections and sustainable growth. Inventee.
Marketing today isn't just about being seen. It's about creating meaningful connections that drive real results. We were Inventee Digital Marketing Services, a 360 marketing agency powered by a team of creative, strategic, and digital experts. From social media and community management to full-scale content production, performance marketing, and AI-driven creative solutions, we help brands connect with the right audience and turn ideas into impact. What makes us different? We combine strategy, creativity, technology to deliver marketing that's smarter, faster, and built for growth. At Inventee, we don't just create campaigns. We build brands for the future.
Making regional growth accessible, not only for corporations, but also for homegrown brands ready to expand beyond our shores. Because like Halo Halo, great things happen when every ingredient is given a chance to shine. One partner, many markets, infinite possibilities. This is Sama Philippines.
Thank you so much. And those are our 9 founding members. We are expecting more. We would expect the Philippine chapter to still grow. But at this point, I would like to ask our founding members to stand up and be acknowledged as I call your name. BBX, represented by Homer. Of course, Ace from Blogapalooza. Staying Curious from Curiosity is Birdie. And of course, if there is a birdie, there is a dog from Elegant. Kel from Inventee. And Live Catch, just catching his barong a few moments. From today, Jason. Ren Ants, who has done wonderfully in handling this event. Paul and Aliyah is also over here. And of course, our master of registration, of course, the games that you should be playing and winning prizes for, Jed. Thank you once again, and mabuhay.
Let's give another big round of applause, of course, to our Sama Philippines President, Ms. Enya, and our founding members. We have 9 agencies, 9 flavors, 1 alliance. And now that we've met the founding members of Sama Philippines, the question is, what does an alliance like this matter? At its core, Sama was built around the belief that businesses shouldn't have to navigate regional growth alone. And to help us unpack this, we couldn't have asked for a more fitting keynote speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us is a transformational leader, technologist, educator, and one of the country's foremost champions of digital innovation and business growth. Throughout his career, spanning more than 2 decades, he has led organizations across marketing, media, technology, and telecommunications, shaping the Philippines' digital landscape while mentoring the next generation of business and marketing leaders. And beyond the corporate world, he has founded organizations that continue to advance blockchain, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence. A man of many hats, he has also earned numerous local and international recognitions, including being named as one of 10 Outstanding Young Men awardee, a Young Global Leader of the World Economic Forum, and the first ever recipient of the Agora Award for Marketing Communications. Please welcome the President and Chief Operating Officer of Ditto Communications, Media, and Entertainment Holdings Corp., Mr. Donald Lim.
Good morning, everyone. Morning, CL, and yeah, thank you for having me. Parang my speech is too serious for this crowd. So I was thinking, what should I read my speech and my presentation or speak from the heart? I'll do a bit of both if you don't mind. Right? So I'll just parang hindi bagay kasi boring. As many of you know, I came from the advertising community also. So almost 4 years of Macan and 4 years of ABS-CBN, and I was a country CEO for Dentsu for also 4 years. No? So the creative industry, the advertising, the marketing solutions companies like all of you, very close to my heart. Currently, I also run, I don't know how many, 5 smaller agencies, advertising, research. I did a bit of political, and then I have a digital influencer agency. So I'll make sure they're part of Sama. Okay? So we expand quickly. Okay. So I'll just do my speech very quickly. So you have a very nice video shot of me, and then later I'll do my ad-libs. Okay. So again, pleasure to be with all of you here today as we celebrate the launch of Sama. It took me a few days to really understand what Sama is. So now I understand. Okay, I get it. And congratulations to all of you for making it possible. I think it's very good that the Asian counterparts are also here to support this launch. No? And I think this is very telling because from the get-go, you are a real network. I think if this is not a network of from different ASEAN countries, then it won't make sense, right? Then it's just a 4As, right? Or an ASAP, which is like our agencies. Okay. So for many years, Filipino entrepreneurs have asked one question: how do we become successful in the Philippines? And I believe we now have to ask a different question: how do we become successful beyond the Philippines? Beyond the next chapter of Philippine business will not be written only within our borders, it will be written across Southeast Asia. And if we look at over the past 2 decades, success has continuously evolved. Years ago, success meant becoming known in your city, then it meant becoming a national brand. Today, I believe success meant something bigger. It means becoming an ASEAN brand. No? And I'll focus on ASEAN because we're chair of the ASEAN this year. The opportunity before us is no longer limited by geography. Technology has reduced distances. Digital commerce has removed many barriers. Consumers are discovering brands beyond their own countries every single day. The question is no longer whether we can expand, but whether we are really preparing ourselves for it. One thing I have learned throughout my career is this: our products are no longer our biggest challenge. Because we know for a fact, in the Philippines, we are innovative, our people are creative, we communicate well, we understand digital, our entrepreneurs are resilient. These are strengths that every country recognizes. What often limits us is not capability, it is confidence. Too many businesses still believe that international expansion is reserved for multinational corporations. And I don't believe that anymore. Today, even the small and medium enterprises have opportunities that never existed before. A month ago, I was in Singapore. And we were having an ASEAN meeting, ASEAN innovation meeting. I was talking to a lot of the businessmen, and they were saying, I have very high regard for the Filipino business people. I said, why? I thought that, Malaysia, Indonesia, you're all very, very good in business. He said, no way. It's very different. In fact, if you look at it here, our government really supports MSME. In the Philippines, you have all the disadvantages brought about by the government, and yet you're still there. And I said, and that didn't come from me. That came from a Singaporean. He said, the thing is, in Singapore, I said, because he wants to expand here. I said, please help me. He said, please help me. I said, okay, but you're a big business in Singapore. And he said, no, in Singapore, we're spoon-fed. Our government is so perfect that they will tell us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we follow, and we're successful. In the Philippines, you do not know what will happen. You will have all the disadvantages and everything, and yet look at how your businesses there thrive. Kaya sabi niya, parang we're the most creative, ingenious, resilient in terms of running a business. And that was a very different perspective actually. Talking to him, he's a big tech company, supplies all the tech in Singapore for the Singapore government. So for ASEAN, again, because I've been working and I've been sitting in the ASEAN Business Advisory Council for this entire year, and we've been driving a lot of policy recommendations. As you all know, the DEFA has been approved, Digital Economic Framework, and we're setting up an AI center. We're doing a lot of things as legacy projects for our ASEAN. In this time, the focus is really Philippines. What can we do? So when people think about global expansion, especially for Filipinos, they immediately think about America or Europe. And even before, when I'm teaching international studies that time, it was very normal because you arbitrage on the foreign exchange. That was so normal. Europe, furniture designers, always Europe, right? Because a $100 bamboo chair here becomes $10,000, $1,000, right? So times 10, right? So you arbitrage on that. But now, I think we're now being pushed back on certain realities that we have to look at our own neighborhood. In fact, ASEAN is nearer. We already have 700 million people. It is one of the fastest growing economic regions in the world. Our cultures are different, but we share many similarities. Our economies are interconnected. Trade barriers continue to decrease. And if you're familiar with RCEP, Regional Cooperation Economic Platform, our RCEP, no one is using it. The Philippines is the slowest in terms of utilization. But there are rules that there are laws that you can use to invoke. So you bring down your taxes, benefits, you have a lot of incentives. Next September, we have an RCEP conference. I'll have you just come, whoever wants to come. So ASEAN should no longer be viewed as a foreign market. It should be viewed as a natural market. And if you look at throughout my career, from advertising to digital, telco, AI, blockchain, I have the opportunity to work with organizations across different Southeast Asian markets. And every single country taught me something important. Never assume what works in Manila will automatically work elsewhere. We've seen also when we do regional pitches for a Nestle or a Coke, that's why you bring the experts, country experts, right? Not even a vertical expert, but a country expert in. Every market has its own culture, its own language, its own consumer behavior, its own way of building trust. And that realization changed how I viewed the regional expansion forever. I remember I was doing a pitch for Coke, and Middle East, the girls are expressed differently, right? So you have to, there are nuances, and I think that's where you can really collaborate. So people think of expansion, failing because the product isn't good enough, but in my experience, that's rarely the reason. Most businesses fail because they underestimate localization. Consumers don't simply buy products, they buy stories, familiarity, brands that understand them. The best regional companies don't duplicate. They adapt, that requires humility, and it requires local knowledge. Trust is not the new competitive advantage. If there's one word that defined my work over the past years, it is trust. And whether we talk about AI, cyber, blockchain, corporate governance, or even your agency, right? Your different agencies, it's all about trust. You cannot scale relationships without trust. You cannot build partnerships without trust. You cannot enter new markets without trust. Products may open the door, but trust keeps that door open. And I think that is going to be so fundamental. That is such a fundamental foundation for Sama, because you have to trust one another, right? And that, I think, gives you also a very strong competitive advantage, because I've run a multinational agency. It's very competitive. We are numbers driven, right? You all know those who here have been with a multinational. It's run by. I'm ranting, right? But before, when I was country CEO, everything is run by finance, right? So you have a percentage of employee to top line. Once you don't hit that percent, you drop people. That's as simple. I was firing so many of my people before, and then you hire them back because you win an account. Then you lose account, you fire them again. So brutal, and it's so weird, right? That's why I never liked the agency business. From a multinational perspective, because there are shareholders. It's part of a bigger whole, right? But for you as a smaller, more nimble, agile, creative, you can actually go around that, right? You can go around that. No? So trust is important. Local partnerships matter. No company can understand every market equally well, and the smartest organizations recognize what they know and what they don't know. So working with trusted local partners dramatically reduces the risk of expansion. They understand local culture, local media, local regulations, local consumer behavior. Instead of learning every lesson through expensive mistakes, businesses gain access to experience that already exists. And that is what I call smart growth. What Sama makes possible, I think, this is why I think your launch is important. No? You're not just in, like what you said, you're not just an alliance of agencies, but an alliance of local expertise. Instead of asking Philippine companies to figure out every market independently, Sama provides access to people who already understand these markets. That lowers the cost of expansion, it lowers uncertainty, and most importantly, it increases confidence. For many SMEs, that confidence may be the difference between staying local and becoming regional. Your business is going to be very much challenged by AI. It's changed everything, it changed us. And AI has fundamentally reduced the cost of entering new markets. Today, we can research competitors faster, translate content instantly, analyze customer behavior, generate localized marketing materials, study market trends, all in ways that were previously available only to large companies. No? So technology has democratized opportunity, now leadership must catch up. And that's why for SMEs or smaller agencies, 5 practical lessons. I think number 1, people will ask me, should I expand? Do I expand? But I always say, win at home first. Become strong at home before expanding abroad. And of course, secondly, don't copy and paste your Philippine strategy into another country. Third, very important is to really the trusted partnerships. So invest in trusted partnerships. You don't have to be with everyone in the room, but plant seeds, go very deep into these partnerships and relationships. Fourth, embrace AI as your competitive advantage. And finally, think ASEAN from the very beginning, because even your website, branding, product design, digital strategy should prepare you for regional growth. And sometimes our greatest limitation is not capital, it's imagination. We think about serving 120 million Filipinos, but what if we start thinking about serving nearly 700 million ASEAN consumers instead? That simple shift changes every business decision we make, and because every business grows in proportion to the size of their vision. Why this matters to the Philippines? Because this conversation is bigger than marketing, than advertising, it is bigger than business. When Filipino companies expand across Asia, they create more jobs back home, they bring home new ideas, they attract investments, and they inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs. Every successful Philippine company overseas strengthens our country's competitiveness. To be honest, we only have very few. I'm with the Philippine Marketing Association, I'm part of PhilExport. When we do our awards for the top Philippine companies who export, it's always the 9 of them. Very few, right? And I think we have to, we have to inculturate that, because the Filipinos are always very scared going outside, and I think that's your role. If they do that, all of us, all of you will win, and because regional success becomes national progress. So today I challenge every entrepreneur with one question: where will your next customer come from? Will it only be from Manila or Cebu or Davao, or could it be Jakarta, Bangkok, Ho Chi Minh, Kuala Lumpur, Singapore? The opportunity is there. The only question is whether we are really ready to pursue that from that lens. So allow me to end with this thought. And for many years, the Philippines has asked how we can attract foreign companies to invest here. Perhaps it's the time to ask another question: how do we build Philippine companies that the rest of ASEAN wants to work with? Because when one Filipino company succeeds beyond our shores, it creates opportunities for countless others to follow. The future of Philippine business will not be determined only by how much our local market we capture, but how much of ASEAN we are all prepared to serve. So let us think beyond our borders, let us build with confidence, and let us grow together. As my last thought, For me, I have very strong views again on marketing agencies, which all of you are, right? And we've seen already that move from marketing and advertising to a purely business, to real and overall business solutions. And I've been very adamant when I talk to a marketing crowd that you have to start relinquishing creative media. Those are marketing terms, eh? No, in fact, we even have our own awards that okay siya, di ba? Okay siya. But then because we were agency of the year 5 years, 5 fevers. We have almost everything. Then I realized, why is my client not? It's okay, right? Why is my boss saying, okay, good job? That's it. And then you begin to realize that beyond the accolades that we all give amongst our peers, we are here to address and help a business problem. And that's why I feel that the future of any marketing agency, of course, number one, I think big means you will be at a disadvantage. COVID told us that already. The smaller, the nimbler, the faster, the more creative, you will have that advantage. So speed is more important. And that's why you have to reframe and relook at your organization from that perspective. I think with AI coming in, the creatives in the room will either see that as a real competitor or how will that be a real enabler. I teach AI in the Enduran, multimedia arts, right? 20-year-olds, and I said, use AI to your advantage. They all said no. They said, what took us time and hours to think, AI will just do it in 3 minutes. Right? So I was so surprised that the next generation, who are the real creatives, really would say, no, we don't like AI. We want to show our passion and creativity, and AI diminished all of that. So in the end, it's all about how you manage what we call the intergeneration. You're managing for the first time 5 generations in the workplace, right? And that's going to be, and the thing is, you're not going to be 500 of you. It's going to be 10 of you, different generations. So as management association, we also take that very seriously because we know that 22-year-olds, they don't want to be hired. They want to be a consultant. Before our time, you have to be 50 years old to be a consultant. Now, they're 22 years old. They said, I'm a consultant. What are you going to consult? They're 22 now. I know all of this. Right? So it's a changing landscape. The business also is changing. The thing is, in the Philippines, and that's why, there is no room to be small. You will be eaten alive. And that's why I think Sama is so important. I think for all of you, you have to find how you will really work together. I really hope you meet more often, regardless. You have to go to each country, get immersed, and really, find ways to really do this. I think it's the dawn of a independent agencies, because that is the natural process of, even if you look at consumers, democratization, the long tail. So every business also goes small, very fast, very mobile, solve a business problem, right? And how do you launch? So it's all about that speed. So you have to restructure your agency based on that. Before, in our time, when you graduate, I'm part of this company, we have 100,000 employees worldwide. There's no pride in that anymore. The next unicorns, the next companies would be an employee of 1, at best employee of 10. So how do you work in that reality? Your org chart is going to be very fluid. Gone are days work. Creative agents, we have a creative department, we have a media department, we have all of these departments. That's sold 15 years ago, right? I don't know what is that today and the next 5 years. So we have to, and I think you can look beyond that. Maybe you can, as a group, work on that, the next blueprint for what should be a real marketing organization. No? And I hope that you collaborate. I know that this is all nice, but the reality of running an organization, because I've run many, in the end it's always about a bit of pride, a bit of all the humanness of everything. So I only wish for all of you that you continue to be humble, to be generous, to be giving, to be considerate, because your advantage being intercultural is also a disadvantage. Sometimes you may not understand one another. And that's okay. Welcome that difference and welcome that expertise. Right? But in the end, I really hope that you all raise the flag of independent marketing agencies. I think we can really showcase how good we can be as a regional bloc. And I hope all of you become very successful in this. I'm here to help. Thank you.
Alright, thank you so much, Donald, for that very inspiring talk. And I hope you got some notes because I took a lot of notes. And apart from the takeaways that I got from Donald's talk, very inspiring by the way, that growth never happens by accident, right? It takes a certain mix of the right vision, strategy, partners, and a deep understanding of every market we enter. And again, as mentioned by Donald, despite all the challenges of our Sama Philippines founders, we are Filipinos and we are thriving, we are creative, and we must all be proud, right? And the economic growth, we must be prepared for that, especially with the progress. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly what Sama is all about. The market has its own culture, it has its own trust, and what makes Sama and Sama Philippines unique at its core is the collaboration, the partnership. That's what I got from his talk in order to make things happen. And the fundamental foundation of Sama, as mentioned, is trust. We also have that smart growth for SMEs and the partnerships to last a lifetime. So I hope you got some notes from Donald's talk and it was really inspiring, and we have much more in store for you in our program for today. And let's once again give a big round of applause to Mr. Donald Lim. What a talk, what a talk. All right. And what we have heard is what it takes to grow beyond borders. Now, let's take the conversation one step forward. As you can see, we have a lot of seats here in the stage. So let me just tell you guys, what are we gonna be encountering today? What do brands navigate? How do brands navigate different markets? What role does local expertise really play? And what does meaningful regional collaboration actually look like in practice? These are the questions that we're going to be exploring as we move into our panel discussion. And now, it's time to meet our esteemed panel members. First off, she is the founder and chief executive officer of iWisers, a social intelligence and digital consultancy helping brands across Asia Pacific turn culturally relevant insights and data into growth. She has also helped expand Sama across the region, strengthening collaboration among independent agencies and creating new opportunities for cross-border growth. A people-first leader and award-winning industry voice, she champions innovation, inclusivity, and stronger standards for the full future of marketing across Asia Pacific. Please welcome the President of Sama Malaysia and Singapore, Dr. Shakti. Next, he is the Chief Strategy Officer and Executive Creative Director of CI Group, where he leads business strategy, creative direction, and long-term growth across its integrated ecosystem of advertising, production, AI, media, and entertainment. He has played a key role in transforming CI into one of Thailand's leading end-to-end creative solutions group, connecting strategy, creativity, technology, and execution to drive sustainable growth across Southeast Asia. He also champions regional collaboration and cross-border partnerships, bringing independent agency leaders together to help Southeast Asian brands grow through world-class creativity and authentic local insight. Let's call on stage the President of Sama Thailand, Mr. Peter, please forgive me. It's Jim Carnan. Is that correct? Yeah, alright. Okay, and next on our list is the founder and CEO of GLO, an Indonesian company that has spent more than a decade using gamification and digital engagement to help brands solve business problems and build stronger connections with customers and employees. He also plays an active role in bringing agencies across Asia together to collaborate and grow beyond their markets, combining technology, creativity, and a sharp focus on business outcomes. He creates experiences people want to engage with and remember. Please welcome representative of Sama Indonesia and founding member and regional assistant vice president of Sama, Mr. Felix Rami. Next up, with nearly 2 decades of experience in client services and project management, he has led teams across Philippines, Qatar, and Singapore, delivering campaigns for major brands and organizations, including Changi Airport Group. Today, as CEO and president of BBX Collab HQ, he drives the company's growth across its global hubs through strategic network building and a culture of joyful excellence. Let's call on the representative of Sama Philippines Chapter and Communications Chair, Mr. J. Homer Panganiban. A big round of applause for our panelists for the panel discussion. And guiding today's conversation, joining us is someone whose work has long focused on building stronger, more resilient economies across Southeast Asia. She's the founder of Kaya ROI, a Southeast Asia regional development strategist and chief curator of HERD, a female leadership accelerator across the region. Ladies and gentlemen, proudly introducing our moderator, Miss Ivana Aguiling. And last but not the least, of course, let's not forget and call on stage once again the transformational leader, technologist, educator, and one of the country's foremost champions of digital innovation and business growth, our keynote speaker, Mr. Donald Lim. Presenting once again our esteemed panelists, a big round of applause, everyone.
Thank you so much, Donald. I probably thought you weren't going to be part of this panel anymore, right? Pero we have so many questions. We have so many questions for you, though. So I understand that you do have to leave a little bit early. So let's start with you. Yes? So you did ask a question earlier, which I'm gonna ask you to be the one to answer as well. And the question that you said was, that you asked was, how do we build Philippine businesses that are more competitive? And then you also had a prompt, which was that leadership needs to catch up. Especially in this world of not only AI, but agentic AI. What do we need to do? What is that single-minded action point that businesses need to do?
For me, the battle of every business, it's now what we call, especially the creative and the marketing, in the marketing agency, it has always been a battle of the bench, right? When you do a pitch, I don't even need to look at the other side. I just need to, and even their work, I just look at who is there. Before, when we were pitching, who's the creative head, who's the head of media? Okay, I know how they will play. Like a sports tournament, right? And the thing is now, because it's democratized, you don't get to do that, but what is important is how you manage and run your team. So I think for me, any agency, for it to be successful, is how you manage the people, because people has become so important. And then they cannot be tied to the rules of a traditional business or even a traditional agency. And those rules have not been created yet. So you have to set it. So that's okay. Set whatever, right? Because if you look at it again, I was telling Sherry, you have a 25-year-old, a 35-year-old, 45-year-old managing, all of them very different. And most of them will stay for a year with you after you train them. I mean, those are certain realities. So how do you harness everyone's power? That's first. Second is always the technology side. And again, whether it's an agency or you're an oil company, more or less, you have the same issues. Second, how do you harness technology to your competitive advantage? If you're using it, when I was with Mahan before with Raul Castro, when we have a pitch, tissue ideas, we call it tissue ideas. 100 pieces of paper, 15 of us just put ideas, and then you distill it down. Now, and that's one entire night. Now you do it what, 5 minutes? 100 ideas. So how you harness really AI, not only for speed but for real competitive advantage. We have to relook at the agency model as purely servicing and providing creative work and media work to real, for example, how do you create an IP? How do you, not only from IP, but how do you really make meaningful value with business, doing something together? So I can speak all day, so I don't want to, right? But for me, it's really mindset and reframing, because this is the business, and you're lucky you're young. Because an older person would play, we'll play it a bit differently. That's why we said, you have to give it to you have to lead the charge for the next generation. You're not too young, but you are there, who has some experience running it. Okay.
I'm gonna pose one last question, but feel free to take up whatever time you want for it. So you actually mentioned the keyword already. When we're talking about digital transformation, especially in the age of agentic AI, there is the skill set need, but you mentioned mindset, which is probably the most challenging thing to overcome. How do you trigger that mindset shift amongst leaders?
The one that will limit you would be the one inside the organization, your people, your senior management. You are going to see and I will tell you already, in 2 years, all of you would have changed jobs, change everything. This room will rotate. Right? That's a given, I'm so sure. At the same time, it's going to be a battle of human plus AI. Meaning, before, in our time when there was a job interview, I'll give you 1 hour, solve this, create a marketing plan, what are your ideas? Now, you have 10 minutes, you have 1 hour, create 10 marketing plans. What AI will you bring to the table? Using your own phone, you can do that already. So we've seen already, even for I'm giving a talk next week, CPAs, accountants in the room, they're saying their job interview is not an interview. You plus your AI, whatever you bring with you, will solve all of these accounting problems. Reconcile this, do what is the formula and everything. So that mindset, if your HR, your people person, your people manager is the one, for me, it's going to limit your growth, number one. Number two, your customers are now more AI than you. So that's going to be very challenging if you are not really there swimming in all of these new tech, and creatives are the ones who tend to shy away a bit. And because of their personality, you have to really jump in and you really have to force that, right? So again, and that's why I said, it's a battle of mindset. Agencies are, again, you are challenged before. I have a lot of agencies. It's always hard to get clients. We get 3-4 clients, okay, very happy, we survived this year, we get a few, our numbers are okay, next year, we get maybe 1 more, right? I mean, those are our conversations, right? But right now, you can really leapfrog it. You have to think leapfrog, right? So when you do your strat planning, which is now, I think, you can start doing your strat planning, how do you become a real ASEAN? And that's why I think I have very good vibes about the group. I think for me, you have to gel first. I think I see all of you gelling. Okay, good vibes. Okay, that's good, right? But I think you have to have a real, genuine concern and interest and drive to help one another. Okay lang, wala. Okay lang. I don't have, even if you come in and you get the business instead of me, okay lang. That will go around it. You have to believe in that value and that universal rule that as a group, you will be giving each other all the businesses and all of you will become successful. Even if you don't, because small agency you will fight. You will be competing with this budget and 3 of you. That's a reality. But it's okay. For me, I don't mind. Even for me, even in my Macantes, oh okay, I think you can get it better than me. I'll give you my whatever support. You have to have that mindset. Then it will come around it. Then after that, after 1 week, oh, we have a pitch, we will give it to you. You have to believe that universal law, right? Of generosity. Right?
And bayanihan.
Diba? Yung, well said. Yung bayanihan. If you believe in that, in all of you have to believe. Kasi Sama is ASEAN, is Asia. So kailangan you have to really work with one another, help one another. If you lose that, then you lose the essence of why you are there in the first place.
I think I said last question, but here's the absolutely last one. What is your, so we know that in the Philippines, 40% of our GDP comes from MSMEs, and you spoke a little bit about that earlier. What is your invitation to them as they drive towards partaking in economic growth?
The role of the madmen before, right? Because all the big brands, they need the madmen who has the academic excellence, the insight and everything to help them run their marketing campaigns. You can be the madmen of the new generation. Because all small businesses, they're always good in operations. It's very rare for a business enterprise to be good in marketing. That's always their water doing. So you can, but you have to rethink what a madman means now to an MSME. Maybe, and you can be very open, maybe you don't pay us, we get a share of your business. Beyond just real performance, but real equity. So you have to be open to all of these discussions. Right? So I've done that's why I own so many weird, people come here for advice, biglang, okay, I'll give you 5%, but just sit in my board and help me and do, okay, whatever. Doesn't mean some succeed, some fail, but it's part of that process, right? Because they are so focused on their operations, on their products, right? And they need, and again, but of course now AI democratizes that. They can just ChatGPT. What you have going for you is the trust. Because there's a face. ChatGPT doesn't have a face. ChatGPT can only go so much, right? And that's why your network is so important. Your directory, your network, and again, that's why it's you. So you have to, I think, you have to spend a lot of your time nurturing and nourishing the relationships. You have to trust one another. Without that trust, this Sama will not be successful, right? So dapat yung beyond just the collegial part of it, you have to be really referring businesses to one another, going to joint pitches, finding everyone's expertise, right? And then of course, hopefully winning markets and bring MSMEs. You can partner with MSME corporations, chambers. Can we go and look? I have an opportunity from this side, right? So dapat yung intelligence, the information network is there, so you can give opportunities to the local MSMEs going to Asia.
I'm kidding, I'm not going to ask her. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to Mr. Donald Lim for being with us this morning. A lot of insights, a lot of really valuable insights that we will take home. We talked a lot about not only digital transformation, but also business model transformation and people transformation. So again, I think he said he's going to be joining Sama, so congratulations to the Sama Alliance for that. Thank you so much, really appreciate it.
Yeah, but before we let you go, Sir Donald, may we request that we make this moment official. So for our panelists and moderator, please stay where you are. And I'd like to invite our friends from the media to gather in close as well for a quick photo opportunity. So bright smiles, everyone!
Hindi pa, aalis na siya.
Thank you again to Mr. Donald Lim for being part of our conversation today. Our panel is not yet over. We have a lot more questions, and later we'll also give an opportunity to the media to ask their questions. Okay. So,